to the channel. Today I've brought line-by-line explanation of the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda along with literary devices and important questions. Let's get started with it. But before that, these are the videos that have already been uploaded. The explanation and quick summary of the chapter, the last lesson, along with explanation of important expressions, then mind map of My Mother at 66 along with the true devices, and another video which has theme, central idea, title, and important questions. Then mind map of Keeping Quiet is in this video. So while revising, go through these videos. Now let's begin with the explanation of Keeping Quiet. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. So right in the beginning, the poet announces what he wants us to do. So he is not giving us any background. कोई background नहीं है कि मैं count to 12 करने के लिए क्यों कह रहा हूँ. So straight away, the poet is saying that do this. So count to 12, and after counting to 12, what we have to do? You have to be still. So he wants us to count till 12 and keep still. He further suggests what we should be doing during that moment of stillness. So be quiet, be still, and then he says that on this earth, referring to each one of us, global citizens living on this planet. So for once on the face of earth का मतलब है हर कोई इस earth के ऊपर. So let's not speak in any language. Now, why he has taken the word language? Language here symbolizes different cultures, races, religions. So language सिर्फ एक language word जो है उसको ही refer नहीं करता. It refers to the cultures, the different races, religions, and all that creates a discrimination and differentiation among people. So followed by people in the world. This leads to discrimination. It builds barriers. So therefore he says that during that moment of silence, let's not speak in any language. Then he also wants us to stop all work for a second and not even move our arms. So then he says that while you are quiet, so be still also. Do not do any physical activity. You are not even to move your arms. Now the word arms here, it stands for a body part as well as for weapon. So pun is created here. So he wants us to adopt a universal language for a moment. That is silence, which will break all the barriers that divide us. So he wants everything to be still. He wants us to be quiet so that a universal language, that is silence, it is achieved. And through this, what he wants us to achieve, what he wants us to gain, let's read further. It'll be an exotic moment. So through this, he says that we are going to achieve an exotic moment. Without rush, without engines. We will all be together in a sudden strangeness. Excuse me. So he says that the moment that would be achieved after adopting silence would be an exotic one. Unusual and rare. There'll be bliss and harmony in that moment, because in that beautiful moment, there would be no rush, no hurry to achieve or gain more. So he says कि वो जो एक moment achieve होगा, उस moment में कोई hurry, कोई rush, कोई भागा दौड़ी नहीं होगी. So it'll be a quiet moment of bliss. Life would not be mechanical, moving in a haste like machines, but all would be together. So during that moment, everyone, excuse me, everyone would come together. There'll be harmony around. So people, they will walk like brothers. So in harmony with each other, and that queer means strange and never achieved before moment. So he says कि इस तरह का moment जो आगे कभी नहीं achieve हुआ, so उस moment में क्या होगा? Life would not be mechanical. Moving in haste would not be there like machines. So जो आदमी है वो machine की तरह नहीं भागेगा. But होगा क्या? All would be together in harmony with each other, और ये achieve होगा उस एक strange, rare और unusual moment में. Then he says, so this is a moment of bliss and harmony. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering swords would look at his hurt hands. So now the poet talks about the fishermen killing whales for the benefit. So through this, he points out at all the powerful people who oppress the weak. So fisherman एक symbol है for oppression. These are the powerful people who oppress the weak. And it also tells us that man is in harming nature. Through this, the poet is also telling us that the activities of man that go against nature. So he also mentions common people. Now, common people, man gathering swords. So those who are engaged in their daily grind. So their only purpose is to accumulate wealth, to accumulate material gains. So he says that common people or the workers who are busy in making money and they don't even come to know about their physical and emotional injuries. So लोग इस भागा दौड़ी में इतने मशरूफ है कि उन्हें ये भी नहीं पता लगता कि ऐसा करके वो अपने आप को स्ट्रेस पे डाल रहे हैं, इमोशनली अपने आप को हर्ट कर रहे हैं. So during this stillness, there would be no oppression of the weak. Man would take care of nature and tend to his own physical and emotional injuries. So the poet कहता है कि इस मोमेंट में सब कुछ जब बंद हो जाएगा, there will be no physical activity. Man will tend to his injuries. There will be no oppression of the powerful on the weak. और लोग जो है वो नेचर का भी ध्यान रखेंगे. So the moment of silence it would be utilized in self discovery. So ये जो moment of silence achieve होगा उसमें soul searching होगी, self discovery होगी, reflection होगी. Then next he says, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. So then he says that power-hungry governments, so those here are the politicians, the leaders, the bureaucrats. So those who are power-hungry, these bureaucrats, these politicians who wage war against countries and nations and even nature for their benefit. So green wars against environment with gas and with fire. So these are the chemicals and pollution. So all these people who prepare for green wars, that is to destroy our environment. Wars with gas means pollution caused by chemicals in factories, industries. Wars with fire means the use of weapons and bombs to kill others. They would all put on clean clothes. Now, here, clean clothes is used as a metaphor for a new perspective. So they would look with a new perspective and walk with their brothers, that is, the other people on this earth, in the shade of harmony, making peace with each other and doing nothing else. So there'll be a new viewpoint. So people, they will understand that the destructive activities that they are engaging in is actually going to harm themselves. So लोग में एक नई सोच उभरेगी. And after that, they will walk hand in hand with their fellows and a harmony will achieve. So this is what the poet says, that harmony, in the shade of harmony, making peace with each other and doing nothing else. Then this is war, people engaging in war, and now holding hands, wearing clean clothes, so there'll be peace and harmony. Next, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. So now he says that what I am saying, it should not be confused. There should be no confusion with total inactivity. So total inactivity, poet कह रहा है that inactivity and stillness that I am propagating, it should not be confused with doing nothing at all. So total inactivity doesn't mean lethargy, passivity, कि कुछ भी नहीं करना है. So when the poet is talking about stillness, he wants us not to confuse it with total inactivity. For the poet, life is a continuous process. Total inactivity, it would mean death, and the poet doesn't want to have any association with death. So poet कहता है कि टोटल इनएक्टिविटी, कुछ ना करना, फिजिकल एंड इवन मेंटल, सो इसका मतलब है डेथ. और डेथ जो है वो एक इटर्नल ट्रूथ है जो आना ही है, पर डेथ के आने से पहले आई डोंट वांट टू बी डेड. सो ही सेज दैट आई डोंट वांट टू हैव एनी एसोसिएशन विद डेथ. Death has to come to all, but still we are alive. Live and let others live too. Instead of waging wars and fighting with each other, we should spread peace and harmony. The moment of stillness is to introspect and judge where we are heading to. So, the poet says कि वो जो moment of stillness है, जब आप एक still moment में बैठे हो, so at that time you have to introspect, you have to reflect, you have to think कि हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं, ये जो सारी एक्टिविटीज हम कर रहे हैं, हम जो भाग रहे हैं पैसे के पीछे, हम जो दूसरों से jealous हैं, we are hating people so without any reason. So he says कि हमें ये सोचना है that what we really want. Then he says, if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt the sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So now he says that if we were not so single-minded here means कि बस एक ही सोच है, materialistic, being selfish, बस accumulate करना है, और चाहिए, so and not kept our lives moving for personal growth. So बस personal, हमारी जो है वो progress होनी चाहिए, जो दूसरा है वो चाहे गरीब रह जाए या फिर उसको खाने को भी ना मिले. So एक ही सोच है कि बस अपनी तरक्की. So instead for once, if we could stop and do nothing and just observe a huge silence. So now the poet says कि ये सब करने की बजाय बस अगर हम एक moment रुक जाए और कुछ ना करें, just observe a huge silence. So here huge silence means कि total silence पूरी दुनिया में, on the face of the earth. Then this silence will break our sadness of not taking care of ourselves. So इस एक्टिविटी में, जिस एक्टिविटी में हम भागा दौड़ी में लगे रहते हैं, रोज की ये एक्टिविटी में, it has made people sad. They are stressed because emotions को टेंड करने वाला कोई नहीं है. So सिर्फ भागा दौड़ी है. So he says कि इस मोमेंट में जब हम अपने बारे में सोचेंगे, जब हम रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे, तो ये जो हमारी सैडनेस है वो अपने आप दूर हो जाएगी. So this silence, it will break our sadness of not taking care of ourselves, not understanding ourselves, and in the process threatening ourselves with death. So जब हम अपने आप को नहीं समझते, अपनी असली जरूरत को नहीं समझते, so what are we doing? We are threatening ourselves with death. So हम डेथ के नजदीक जा रहे हैं. So this moment of soul searching would heal our greedy and selfish soul, and we would be able to cure our sadness and promote peace and harmony. So इस तरह से इस moment of silence में जब हम अपने आप को emotionally tend करेंगे, so we would be healing our soul. So our sadness जो है वो अपने आप दूर हो जाएगी और हम peace और harmony की तरफ बढ़ेंगे. Then he says, so look, man who is just thinking about one thing, single-minded, and it's money, it's accumulating wealth, and this makes man sad. Now after that, he says, perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I'll go. So here the poet says that earth is a very good teacher. So you can see here that earth, what can earth teach us? Let's read this. Here the poet wants us to learn from earth. Earth is a great teacher when everything seems dead on the earth. So poet here points out at the winter season. He also points out here when life, it slows down. So there's a dormancy. So later it becomes alive. Alive when there's spring season, there's rejuvenation. So during this moment of silence, we should search our souls, introspect and unite. So what is earth doing during this time? So when there's a period of dormancy, so even earth is rejuvenating. So poet wants that we should also utilize that time for introspection, to search our souls. So we would also be rejuvenated and should begin anew with a new zeal. Providing us with a blueprint, the poet says that now he would count till 12 for us to be quiet, and he would leave us in this moment of introspection. So then the poet says that, okay, now I've given you the blueprint. So this is night. After night, there'll be day, new zeal, rejuvenation. So then he says that now I've told you, I've given you the blueprint, I've told you what you have to do. So now he says that I'll count till 12 for you, and you be quiet, introspect, and I will leave. So he says that I'll leave you in this moment of bliss. You introspect and reflect, and he wants us to take the right decision and take action to spread brotherhood. So in the end, he wants that we should take right decision and we should take action to spread brotherhood. So this is the exploration of the poem. Now let's move on to the literary devices. So the literary devices, pun. So I told you pun while we were doing explanation. So it is duplicity of sense. And arm stands here for the body part also, as well as for weapons. Then alliteration, sudden strangeness, sir sound here. It is alliterating. Then wars with fire, wars with gas. So war sound is alliterating. Now this is also alliteration and repetition. And repetition of a single word or a phrase in immediate succession is also known as pelilogia. And this is a type of repetition only. So like here, wars with, wars with. So in a quick succession, this phrase, it is repeating. So it is a form of repetition only. Pelilogia is a form of repetition only. Then personification. The earth can teach us. So the property of teaching. So that is why it is personification. Now next, oxymoron. Now green words, it is an oxymoron. Figuratively, the word green, it actually refers to practices or policies that do not negatively affect the environment. For example, green power. So it means safe power, healthy power. But here, when it is written green words, so green, it is symbolizing healthy, something safe, but war, it is totally opposite. So green words, it is an oxymoron. So green words is a totally contradictory term. Now next, metaphor. Clean clothes, it is used as a metaphor for adopting. Here it is like wearing a new perspective, a new way of thinking. We move on to the next, extended metaphor. Now when the poet says that perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. So here, earth, when he says it seems to be dead, it requires a patient eye to perceive life on earth. So earth is actually not dead. For example, the plants, they don't grow in a day. They seem to be dead, but later then you will find that they have blossomed. It's a slow process. So this stillness, it can also be compared to the stillness of winter. Life slows down during winter. After winter comes spring, marking renewal, rejuvenation, and rebirth. The silence recommended by the poet paves way to a new perspective. So therefore it is extended metaphor. Next is symbolism. So fisherman and whale here stands for the oppressor and the oppressed respectively. I've explained it while we were doing the explanation. And similarly, salt gatherer is symbolic for common man, a worker who's busy gathering material things. Then we have enjambment. So it would be an exotic moment. So here we find no pause, no punctuation mark. This line, it runs into the next one. So without rush, without engines. And then we would all be together. So this runs into the next one. So therefore, this is enjambment. You will find other examples of enjambment from the poem, so you can do it yourself. Then next one, anaphora. Let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second. So this let's word, consecutive lines, it is repeating the beginning word, so therefore it's anaphora. Now the tone of the poem. Now tone of the poem here is calm, serene, and reflective. So the poet at no point shows anger at the activities of man, the dangerous activities, destructive activities that the man has engaged himself in. So there's no anger. But very calmly, the poet tells us that what is to be done. So rhyme scheme, it is blank verse, there's no rhyme scheme. Now next we have important questions. Now these are the important questions. You can go through these important questions. 30 important questions I've included. So these are first 10. These are next 10. These are the next 10 important questions along with theme and justification of the title, and the answers you will get here. So you have to click the link that is given in the description box for answers, and it will take you somewhere else, and there you will find complete notes to develop upon while you are preparing for your examination. So go there and click for answers. So that's all for today. I hope that you've liked the explanation, and these questions will be enough for complete preparation of the poem for your board exam. So bye for now and happy preparation.